All right, everybody, we're really excited. I'm going to transition and introduce you guys very quickly to Dwight Flinkerbusch is the VP of Business Development at the Cook's Nook. He is a longtime technologist that has come to this space, and I'm thoroughly thrilled to have him introduce the next panels and what's going on. That's it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joy. Really appreciate it. As Joy mentioned, my name is Dwight Flinkerbusch. I work for the Cook's Nook here in Austin, Texas. If you're not familiar with the Cook's Nook, just a little bit about us. So we are a purpose-driven culinary hub over in East Austin, all sprung out of the big head of my boss, Joy Chevalier, with a really, really clear vision of what can happen when we start to focus on infrastructure and helping people create new businesses that are based on food, because there really wasn't any infrastructure here to speak of. So we created a space, a co-working space. So you might be familiar from a high-tech business model, being able to create a business accelerator to help new entrepreneurs figure out their business, figure out a path towards success, and help, provide resources to help them along the way. We took that same business model and applied it to food. So that's really what the Cook's Nook started out as, a food incubator. And that's what we still do. We have members that are working in our facility. That includes a co-working space and also a commercial kitchen. And, is that me? Okay. And so, one of the things, I'm not sure if anyone knew anything about it. There was a thing called a COVID-19 pandemic or something. I don't know if anyone knows anything about that. But that happened back in 2020, March of 2020. And as Joy mentioned, we were working with the city and the county to try to figure out, how do we feed people that suddenly found themselves food insecure, didn't know where their next meal was going to come from. Since then, we have been producing anywhere from 10 to 12,000 meals a week, and that program still continues. And what's so interesting about that, as Joy was putting some of those things together, or putting that program together, which, by the way, all took place in about 2 weeks. Remember, put your mind back to March 2020, when everybody was like, what in the world is happening? What do we do? Where am I? Who am I? What's going on? Right? In 2 weeks, put together this program to, one of the things that she talked about is doing a win-win situation, right? So she pinged the people that she knew that were suddenly out of work in the restaurant industry. We suddenly found people that were having food that couldn't be delivered anymore. And how do you bring all those things together to create a network of people and processes and distribution processes to actually start feeding people? That's what we did. It wasn't an easy task. And it was also really clear to us that, there were probably other entities throughout the U.S., throughout the state of Texas, other communities that were facing the same problem. And that is where the Conference of Food Resiliency, Access, and Equity was born, as part of our vision to create a bigger impact in the community to help people that really need some assistance in not only understanding where food comes from, but where their next meal comes from. And so that's where the conference, we call it CFRAE, came from. So I'm thrilled to be up here on stage talking about that and to introduce our next panel. So, oh wait, I gotta get my cheat sheets out. Hold please. Because you know what? With all this gray hair, I am not going to remember all this stuff. So I'm going to use my cheat sheet. So I am very proud to introduce our next panel. The next panel is entitled, Coming to a Neighborhood Near You, Changing Food Access Through Mobility. And this is really a key topic, and I'm thrilled to introduce our panelists. We have Ashton Cumberbatch, who's the president and co-founder of Equidad, ATX. Lisa Barton, the ED of Keep Austin Fed, and Andrea Abel, the ED Executive Director of FarmShare Austin. And today our moderator for this panel is going to be Casey Hansen. Casey is a program manager at the Dell Medical Center at the University of Texas at Austin, and also serves on the Austin-Travis County Food Policy Board. It's just an amazing set of people to really talk about how food and transportation, what the intersection is there, You know, it's not just about creating the food, it's also creating distribution and having access. And that is really what we're talking about here. So it's my pleasure to introduce Casey Hansen and the panel to the stage. Thank you very much.